Hi, my name is Rod Cleef, and I'm the host of the Lifetime Cash Flow Through Real Estate Investing podcast. And every week I interview multifamily rock stars, and we talk about how they've built incredible wealth for themselves and their families through multifamily properties. So hit the like and subscribe buttons to get notified every Monday when a new episode comes out. Let's get to it. Welcome back to Multifamily Rockstar. So as you guys know, this is where we interview people that are crushing it in this business and in their lives. And we show you the inside scoop as to how they're creating that massive success. And as always, I've got my co-host, who's the director of our massive action team for our Warrior Group, Mark Nagy, on the call. Mark, what's up, brother?
Hey, not too much, Rod. It's awesome, man. We've been doing this long enough now. I don't know. We've been doing these episodes maybe 8-10 months, something like that. And every week I'm starting to keep seeing these familiar faces pop up since I've joined the team with you. And right. No different here today. A year and a half ago, met this guy, and excited to hear about what he's been up to.
Yeah, well, he's been doing a lot. So it's Tim Fergestad, and we're lucky to have him here. And he's in, he's an LP and GP in over 1,000 doors, and he's got an interesting background. So in fact, you know what? I'm not gonna steal his thunder. I want him to say it. So welcome to the show, buddy.
Hello, thank you for having me. You guys are awesome. I'm a big fan of podcasts, and this is one of my favorites. So it's a treat for me to be on here. I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah. So why don't you just give us a little background, because it is not your normal background. So sure. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. I started as a scientist. I have a PhD in neuroscience, and my wife is a physician. She's an MD, and so we have a lot of schooling. Had a lot of income, a lot of taxes, and no financial training and no free time. So in 2006, my wife finished her residency and became the breadwinner, and she got pregnant with our first kid. And so if you remember those years, those were interesting times economically. There were hiring freezes, and universities' funding was terrible and stuff. And so we decided she's a breadwinner. I'll be Mr. Mom for a while and raise our kids ourselves. And long story short, when she's doing a 24-hour OB shift or something, I'd be the fill gap, right? I'd be doing everything else. And I decided to pivot into real estate because I've always liked real estate, and it's something that I can do on a more flexible schedule. So I got my license here in Arizona, and wanted to.
You got your real estate license?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And I wanted to fix and hold some plexes here in Arizona. Right. But I soon learned I didn't really like the market here at the time. There's the what is the 1% rule when you're looking kind of at the residential models and stuff, and it was more like the 0.5% rule. Still kind of is here in Arizona.
You know, what's interesting is it was 2% when I first got started.
Right.
I was able to buy houses, for $20,000 and rent them for $400 a month. That's 2%. And that's how come I was able to explode with my single family portfolio. But yeah, so, what made you think about getting into multifamily? I think you joined the Warrior program about 1.5 years ago. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah. A year and a half ago. I got some single family rentals in other markets where the numbers made a little more sense. I started a land wholesaling company. I tried some other aspects of real estate. I became a passive investor in somebody I knew here locally, syndication, apartment syndication, and that was in Las Vegas. But I tried doing some plexes remotely, actively myself in different markets like Columbus, and I had a good contractor, an agent. I thought I did, and I tried to put in as soon as I'd find something about ready to go, they'd go dark, and I'd have to set it all up again. It got frustrating. I missed your summer event. Some friends that I knew here were going. Was that in LA maybe?
Could be. Yeah, I've done a couple in LA. I lose track. They run together for me.
I couldn't make it, but then I got on your mailing list and got a notification for a virtual one. And so I managed to make that.
Wonderful.
And that was awesome. Awesome. Thank you very much. I think you recruit or attract people with a growth mindset, right? Mm-hmm. An abundance mindset, and they want to develop. And I really liked your mindset stuff is very powerful. And that's, I really, that appealed to me. And so I was attracted to that.
No, I appreciate it. Yeah. I mean, that's really what the brand is known for, is people actually taking action with what they learn. It's not just the technical side of things. So,
right. So to answer your question though, to the why multifamily is the single families did okay, but they were kind of a hassle, and my multifamily outperformed it by a lot and was much less of a headache. So it was clearly an easy transition to realize the scalability and all that. I've had some weird tenants and other stuff I've had to deal with, and so that was
right,
very appealing.
Right. No, it's nice when you can have third-party property management handle that stuff for you, so you're not dealing with toilets and tenants, and that's one of the beautiful things about multifamily.
And one vacancy doesn't kill you.
Right, exactly. One vacancy in a house and you're 100% freaking vacant, right? And it's not a big deal otherwise. But yeah, so in your GP role, what role did you play? I don't want to assume. In this business, it's a team sport, and people wear different hats. Did you wear all the hats, or did you help in one particular area?
Right, not in that deal. That was my first deal as a GP was last year, and I got that through networking, through the Warrior Group, really. And that was with Sam, and they wanted some help with the at-risk capital and some of the capital raising. So those are the two things I was able to participate on. And I've been able to learn the asset management and stuff through the process as well, which has been great.
Fantastic. So how old are your kids?
15 and 12 now.
Okay.
So juggling that, they still take a lot of time.
Yeah, sure. So how do you manage that, with the kids and still, work this business, and talk about that for a minute?
Well, in the past year or so, largely thanks to your generous books and that you send, as well as the training stuff, I've sort of managed to block my time a little better, right?
Okay.
I'm more efficient with it. I also get up earlier and more productive in the morning before they even get up, and I get a lot done. And then I think I'm more efficient again in the windows when they're at school. I get a lot done. And
yeah.
When they're home, it gets tough.
Right. No. I get it. Teenagers, good Lord. But one of the things, guys, if you're listening, that I spend a lot of time on, because one of my biggest regrets in life was coming home to my kids and being distracted, not being with them, not being present. So, I teach a planning process that includes blocking time, which is what Tim's referencing, which is very, very powerful. It's how I managed a couple of large companies at the same time. Yeah.
I know you mentioned mindset there, Tim. You went from single family, passive investor, multifamily, now active multifamily. What are some of those big mental hurdles that you've had to overcome, along that journey there?
Well, one of the biggest ones was I didn't realize these sort of private investments were available. I really didn't. I thought I just had to invest in the stock market and do what my financial advisors had told me. And I didn't even realize that. I thought that was only for the rich or the real estate insiders, right? And so that's one of the things I want to share with a lot of people, a lot of my colleagues and other stuff. I want to let them know that these are options, because most people, or a lot of people, don't know about it.
Well, what's crazy is
investments. You mean just multifamily,
investments,
right? In general, right?
Just so he's talking about passive investing in multifamily. Yeah. I mean, you're in the catbird seat, being in the medical community for sure. I mean, there's a ton of money there. I know some, there's some doctors in my mastermind that kill it because they're able to communicate. They're able to speak your language and show people the benefits of multifamily investing, passively or actively, for that matter. And
absolutely.
So, that's. I mean, you're in a great position to capitalize on that for sure. So we talked about sacrificing, what's next for you? Let me say it that way. Are you guys actively looking? Are you on a team? You doing it on your own now? Or are you still working with some other warriors on this? Tell me a little about that.
Right. So, I'm in Phoenix, and Phoenix is a great, strong market for a lot of reasons, but it's also very competitive. And so, although I've been focusing here, the deals I've been on or part of have come from other people in other spots through networking, right? And a lot of it through the Warrior program originally, and then sort of secondary through there maybe, but that's been a big part of it. I've met people here in Phoenix who invest in Dallas, and I've met people in Dallas who are investing in Phoenix. And I eventually realized that it's competitive everywhere, and I'm boots on the ground here, so that's kind of where I'm focusing. But I've been I've not teamed up per se yet. I'm still
right.
promiscuous, I guess.
Right. That's funny. Now that's very funny. I'm going to use that. That is very funny. Yeah. And guys, this is what I teach as well, is that you don't, when you meet somebody and you do a deal together, you don't get married, you date. Okay. And right. Promiscuous. I love it. And you make sure that you work well together before you move on and get married and do all sorts of deals together. You can do one deal together and see how that works. See if everybody's work ethic is there. See how you get along. And yeah, I love it, Tim. That's a great analogy.
So that's it. I see the value of it, though. I mean, I don't want to be too promiscuous. I want the people I've seen excel really do find somebody who complements their strengths, right? At the university, I wear a lot of hats, and I'm trying to wear a lot of hats now. The first 6 months after joining your program, I absorbed a lot of material, and it just took me a while to set up my systems and get comfortable and get going. And it's too much. It really is a team sport. You can't do it all yourself, and right. Eventually, I have to sort of find a situation that will allow me to go further faster.
Yeah. But you're not doing so bad.
Maybe you're still working on that then. That's what I was going to ask. Maybe you're still working on that, figuring that out. I don't know if that's the answer, but how have you taken that background, in neuroscience and applied that to figuring out your quote unquote superpower in multifamily, or are you still working on that?
I'm still working on that. Like I said, I'm used to wearing a lot of hats. I'm trying to do everything myself. I mean, I'm a geek. I like numbers. I can do the underwriting. But I also, I am somewhat gregarious. I like talking to people, and the capital raising I think is good and fun, and networking I'm enjoying that. So it's a balance. And I have some funds I can help bring to the table and make KP on some deals.
Well, that's very valuable. What advice do you have for people that are thinking about this business that, maybe haven't gotten started yet, or any suggestions you may have for those people?
Well, the main one is don't do it yourself. It's really complicated. It's not that there's a lot, and it really helps to have people helping you out, not just inner circle team members, but property managers, loan brokers, all sorts of assets out there that are happy to help you and work with you. I would say join a group. The Warrior program was great, not only for the networking and the mindset stuff, which Rod's great with, but the information and he's set forth these great action plans. Those helped me a lot, Rod. I appreciate it.
Oh, that's good to know. Thank you for that. No, that's awesome. By the way, guys, if you're listening and you want to apply to our Warrior group, there's just text the word crush to 72345. And you can also go to rodcleef.com. There's a place you can do it there too. But and you check us out, we check you out. That's how it works. So again, that's crush to 72345. And thank you for that. So I have a question. What's your driver, brother? What's your why? What's making all this happen?
I'm a hard worker. I don't sit still very well as part of it. And I enjoyed the LP stuff, but I want to be more active on the GP stuff. Just when we go to the beach with my wife, she wants to sit down and relax, and I'll sit there for like 5 minutes, and I got to go play in the water, start making a sandcastle or something, because I can't take it. So I got to go do something, but my main why is my family and getting time. My wife's been the breadwinner for a while now, and I want her to have the free time to practice medicine the way she wants and not be so stressed out and the financial burdens of being, the primary provider and stuff. So my main one is to help her, but just the older I get to realize I want to make an impact on everybody. I want to help. I like being able to help the tenants and the community, and I like helping my partners and stuff, and my family is primary.
Nice.
Well, I'd actually like to touch on that real quickly, because I talk actually with a lot of people that say, similar to you, to where you're the only one doing real estate, right? Because your wife is not actively involved in real estate. It's just you, correct?
Correct.
And so a lot of people think, oh, it's just me, it's just me going out and building a business. But I want them to hear it from you. How important is it that you and your wife are on the same page before you just go jumping into building a business.
Not only how important is it, how did you communicate that? And was there any need to influence her into this mindset? If you can go back and think about that, because that could be really helpful. Yeah.
Yes and no. She's been pretty supportive of most of my endeavors, and real estate is something tangible that I think she appreciates and understands.
Okay. Okay.
I talked to her about it too much, so she starts to tune me out.
You over communicate. Okay. Because, we get that a lot. What happens if my wife doesn't support me or my husband doesn't support me? And so, like to get into that conversation a little bit, just to give some feedback. And it's usually communication. I mean, if you communicate and just explain the benefits and mitigate the fear through that communication. And that's why I asked the question. But so let me ask you this, knowing what you know now, if you went back, a couple of years or even further back, is there anything you might do differently with the knowledge that you have now?
Absolutely. One of the main things is I would work more on myself earlier on. There's the story I like with the guys in the parking lot going to work, and the boss drives up in his Lamborghini. He's like, "Wow, how do you get a car like that?" And the boss says, "Well,
work really hard
every day. You work really hard for all year, and next year I'll be able to buy another one." And that's when it's true. And I realized working for myself and on myself is something that I didn't often do. I always sort of went in and just went through the motions.
Well, if you're not the lead dog, the view never changes, right? But the thing you said about working on yourself, I'm really glad you said that, because guys, a life unexamined is a life not worth living. That was Socrates a few thousand years ago. You need to be looking in the mirror every year to be a better, husband, wife, father, mother, business person, human being, frankly. And, and that's just so critical. And, you build your emotional IQ, you build your gratitude, you build all these things that really propel you to true success, which is happiness. And, we think it's all the money, but if you drill down and ask the question why enough times, why somebody wants something, it's always happiness and love. I mean, that's what everybody wants. And so, I'm really glad you asked that question, because that self-improvement is it's a critical component. I meet people sometimes on the podcast that are gazillionaires. Okay. And I can tell if they haven't evolved into happiness and really self-actualized. And I feel sorry for them, frankly, because they're truly not successful. They may be successful from an outward, but they're not happy. And that's true success. So I'm sure you agree.
Yes, absolutely.
I know we've talked about, you've given a lot of good advice, right? If you could go back and start over, what is some bad advice you've maybe received along the way? It could be about multifamily, business building, family, whatever, right? Sure. That you think maybe new people should look at. Or an experience
that you learned from, either one.
Sure. I got one that an experience and bad advice. It's not bad advice. It's tricky advice. You have to listen. One thing was, if you find the deal, the money will come. And that's true.
If you're working on the money in advance of the deal. Otherwise,
here's what happened. So I had some people out in my network called me up and wanted some help on a deal, and they had a capital, not a dealer broker, but a capital partner out on Wall Street who raises big money for deals, and was telling them, we don't write checks for a few $1 million. Go find me something else. I got $100 million to deploy this quarter. Go find something bigger. And so they did, and they found one, and it was a C class, and it cash flowed. It looked good. The numbers looked good. It had a good plan. This was a few months ago, and what happened was we had some hiccups along the way. Quite a few. That's a whole nother interview in itself, maybe. But basically, the capital guy couldn't perform. And that was a fear of mine I had from the get-go. But I mean, he works with like a broker at Northmark who said, yeah, I work with him repeatedly, who vouched for him, said he brings like $80 million to deals, right? So bringing 10 is not a big deal for him. But he balked at it after he sat in with my partners before I was in the deal and convinced everybody, oh yeah, yeah, we can do this. We can close by this date, not a problem. But then when it came time to perform, he's like, get an extension for 4 months. I'll send out some flyers or something. That doesn't work. And so, yeah, we got in trouble with that. So that hurt because we ended up losing some earnest money and stuff.
Oh, you did? Wow.
You actually,
wow.
And I guess I learned a lot of things with that. One was also that we tried to hurry up and raise it ourselves, but we needed some help. So we needed some institutional money or some preferred equity or something. Mm-hmm. And once you say 60s vintage in El Paso, they say, let me stop you right there. Not interested.
No kidding.
So that was interesting too. And I've learned how those old deals play out, right? Because they make money. The numbers worked, it would, but you're getting to the point where you can build for the same price.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem.
Yeah. And so what happens to those, right? Usually I didn't network enough to find the guy who wants to put his money into that deal.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know about that. That's sorry. That was a seminar. That was absolutely a seminar. Yeah.
That was.
So, what are some important questions that you think someone that's thinking about getting into this business might want to ask themselves?
I guess I'd want them to make sure they want it, know their why, because I see a lot of people get into it and not execute, right? They don't follow through. They like it. They learn a little about it and they dabble or something, but they don't actually take action. Or as you say, massive action. I love it.
Right.
So that's what it takes.
Well, it's massive freaking action. Okay. Don't forget the freaking. Okay.
Yeah. And by the way, when people text in to work with me and my team, and Tim, you went through this as well, whether you even work with us or not, that's one of the things that we do with everybody is we have you sit down, we ask questions about your why and writing out your goals, because even if you don't work with us, what Tim just said, knowing your why, that's going to be the thing that's going to get you there, gaining the knowledge, all that stuff of what Tim and all these interviews is important, but that why is the key to getting you to success. Because, if you went through that challenge that you just told us about, lost some money, if you didn't have a strong why, what do you think the odds are that you just quit and walk away from multifamily and say, what, this just isn't for me?
Right. Exactly. Yeah, no question. And I'll tell you, that's, if you don't have that burning desire, really is what it is. Like Napoleon Hill talks about in his book, Think and Grow Rich, you got to want it, which is why at our boot camps, first thing we do is goal setting on steroids for the first hour and a half, because how are you going to get anything if you don't know what the heck it is? Right. And Absolutely. So, that's just a critical piece. And, that's how you push through those limiting beliefs and fears and stumbling blocks and setbacks, which are inevitable. Everybody's going to have them. I've got bigger ones than most, those setbacks, seminars. So, that's what pushes you through. We fail our way to success, and that's the truth of it. So, were there any defining moments or aha moments for you, Tim? Any moments where you're like, okay, now I get it, specifically about the business, if possible, but if not, maybe in life in general is fine too. But anything come to mind if I ask that question? If not, no big deal, but.
No, nothing leaps to mind right now. Okay. You often say when you get the first deal done, you realize how easy it is, and then you want to hurry up and do some more. I mean, that one was nice. Our first deal last fall, a lot of it was the market. By the time we closed, we had a hiccup with that one, where less than a week before we closed, the lender bailed on us.
Oh, wow.
And so thankfully we had an extension and then we were able to get it done. But basically when we finally did close, it appraised at our exit value for the project already. Nice. So that was like, wow.
Yeah. Nice.
We had to stabilize it and clean it up because the seller had put in a bunch of poor tenants and we had to deal with all that.
Well, that's not uncommon. That's not uncommon. You clean up the demographic.
But the appraisal already basically was good. So it was
nice.
That was kind of an aha moment.
Sure. Well, you get the little ones all the way through. You're like, okay, I see I should have done this way instead of that way. They may not have been life-changing, but they certainly help. Sure. Yeah. So, all right. Well, listen, I really appreciate you coming on the show today, buddy. And I know this is the first time you've ever done one of these, so you killed it. You did great. But
thank you for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure. Yeah. So really, it was great to see you. And I don't know if you're going to make it to the Denver boot camp. If you are, make sure you come up and say hello. There'll be about 1,000 people there. So it's going to be a little crazy. Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah, there'll be a bunch of Warriors there too. But all right. Well, it's great to see you, my friend. I appreciate you coming on.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Rod, I know a lot of our listeners are wanting to take their multifamily investing business to the next level. Now, I know you've been hard at work helping our Warrior students do just that using our ACT methodology, which is awareness, close, and transform. Can you explain to the listeners how they can get our help?
You bet. Guys, we've been going nonstop for 3 years, building an amazing community of like-minded people. And our coaching students, which we call our Warriors, have had extraordinary results. They've purchased thousands and thousands of units. And last year, we did over 1,000 units with our students. And we're looking to grow this group and take it to the next level. We're looking for people who want to follow a proven framework that's really step by step, and then leverage our systems and network to raise equity, to find and close deals, and to build partnerships nationwide. Now, our Warrior community is finding success in any market cycle. So if you're interested in finding out more about how you can become more of our incredible network and take advantage of the incredible opportunities that are coming very soon, apply to work with us at mentorwithrod.com or text CRUSH to 72345, and we'll set up a call so you can check us out and we can check you out. That's mentorwithrod.com or text CRUSH to 72345.